Hey everyone, it's just one more piece of proof that you need to help further explain why it's so important to do whatever you can to make freedom a reality. Individual freedom a reality in countries such as Canada, US, and most of the Western developed world. As you know, there's nowhere left on the planet, well, except to Antarctica. And yeah, I don't see too many opportunities it has for us to just move down to Antarctica and set up camp. That's not quite as easy as you would think. So, no, we don't want to succumb. And we don't want to be like the forefathers of the past that sought out new worlds or new areas on the geography on the map to set up a new structure to create more freedom and more liberty. Like I say, we're running out of space on this globe, on this planet. Maybe at some point in time in the future, we could start doing that on other worlds. But for now, on the planet Earth, yeah, there's only a finite amount of space there. And we got to stand firmly in defense of individual rights, freedoms, and liberty on the ground, on the soil that we currently exist or inhabit. The authoritarians aren't going to make it easy. There's people out there today, I mean, you've heard of the people that are, turning towards small or tiny homes. There are people that are moving off into the woods, traveling way up north of Canada, up into Alaska. People are trying to find ways, they're desperately seeking out ways where they can escape authoritarianism and the tentacles of the state. And we're seeing time and time again that that's a Herculean task and profoundly difficult to do. And this is just one further example of that. Headline of the National Post: the first seasteaders are in rough waters after the Thai Navy swoops in. The couple, part of a movement aimed at creating communities in international waters, face the possibility of life in prison or death. This being reported by Christian Paz Lang, April 18th, 2019. Two people are in hiding after the Royal Thai Navy occupied a small structure off the coast of Thailand, in which the couple had been living as part of a movement called seasteading, the creation of autonomous homes in international waters. As reported in the Bangkok Post, the Royal Thai Navy filed a criminal complaint with police about the two occupants, American Chad Elwertowski and his Thai girlfriend Nadia Suprani Teptit. I know I probably butchered that one. Under a section concerning threats to national sovereignty. These offenses carry sentences of life in prison or death. Thai authorities also say they have revoked Elwertowski's visa. As you can see, here is a message, I guess, on this Chad Elwertowski's Facebook post. I was free for a moment, probably the freest person in the world. It was glorious. Chad Elwertowski posted this message on his Facebook page Saturday, presumably after being forced to leave his seastead home. This is ridiculous. We lived on a floating houseboat for a few weeks and now Thailand wants us killed, Elwertowski said in the Facebook post, now hidden from the public. He said he and his girlfriend were safe but hiding from police. The two are the first seasteaders to put to sea as part of a group called Ocean Builders, an enterprise aimed at creating a community of floating homes by developing and selling structures that can be self-sustaining in international waters. The couple's home was constructed by sinking a long spar and placing an octagonal platform on top of it. Following the incident Saturday, the Ocean Builders group posted a statement on their website saying that Elwertowski and Teptit were not responsible for building the seastead, but were merely tenants. They said that though they initially feared the seastead had been immediately destroyed, there was some indication that it was still afloat. Daniel A. Nagy, a personal friend of the couple who had visited them in Thailand before their seastead was launched, said in a Facebook message that basically Chad and Nadia are blazing the trail, trying out how to seastead. A lot of people, including myself, are following them closely to learn from their experience. Nagy said he hadn't heard anything from Chad or Nadia beyond what Ocean Builders had stated online. On Thursday, Ocean Builders published another post showing data extracted from an onboard tracker emitting a signal that showed it to be 14 nautical miles from the nearest Thai island, meaning it is outside of Thailand's territorial waters. However, it is within 24 nautical miles, meaning it is within the contiguous zone that allows states to exercise some control in order to prevent infringement of its customs, fiscal, immigration, or sanitary laws and regulations within its territory or territorial sea. Ocean Builders is just one group of the wider seasteader movement, of which the Seasteading Institute is the biggest player. The institute was founded by Patrick Friedman, the grandson of the famous economist Milton Friedman, and funded in part by a $1.7 million donation from the Silicon Valley billionaire Peter Thiel. Seasteaders envision a vibrant startup sector for governance, with many small groups testing out innovative ideas as they compete to better serve their resident needs, the company's website says. The seasteading community is at its core a libertarian enterprise. They envision a world that maximizes freedom, where people are able to vote with their homes, simply sailing away from any community where government becomes too big or where they're unhappy. Peter Thiel, one of the most high-profile tech libertarians in the world, spoke at a 2009 convention hosted by the Seasteading Institute, in which he discussed why he thought seasteading was an important endeavor for humanity. The question of whether seasteading is desirable or possible is in my mind not even relevant. It is simply necessary, Thiel said. The idea of seasteading fits into the decentralized and competitive idea of governance that is part of the libertarian tradition. However, the difficult legal questions about where homes could be located, as the recent incident near Thailand shows, could be a major problem for the movement. Maybe there will be some reaction, Thiel said in his 2009 address. Maybe there will be an aircraft carrier coming towards the seastead. But if you have 10,000 seasteads, maybe it'll be too late. In a 2017 interview with the New York Times, however, Thiel expressed some reservations about the technological and engineering feasibility of seasteads, knowing they were still very far in the future. Another setback for the seasteading movement was the end of the deal the Institute had made with French Polynesia, which appears to have disintegrated. The idea of a microstate utopia is nothing new. The most famous example is the Principality of Sealand, which claims its status as a micronation and is entirely confined to an old anti-aircraft platform off the coast of the United Kingdom. Even more relevant to the seasteaders' vision, perhaps, is the Republic of Rhode Island, a platform constructed by an Italian engineer in the Adriatic in 1967, which included everything from a restaurant to a bar and a dance floor. Italian police eventually occupied the microstate, and it was destroyed by the Italian Navy, leaving the founder to declare a government in exile. So as you're seeing, folks, and I'll post a link to this article in the description of the video below, but even when libertarians, and I mean, Peter Thiel has lots of money at his disposal to help these people, but like I say, even libertarians, look at what we're seeing today, right? The authoritarians seem to be hell-bent on making sure that libertarians or anyone that wants to escape and get out from under the thumb of the state that has nowhere left to turn. I mean, these are people that are going out in the middle of the waters, right, to escape this. And you still have governments that are trying to impose their mandates, their edicts, and their authority on these people. Like I said, this is not going to be easy, but listen, libertarians, people that stand for individual rights, freedoms, and liberty, people who have that kind of mentality, that kind of psychology, and that kind of resolve, yeah, you're not going to stop them. These governments, they might slow down the progress. They might cause a lot of harm along the way. But if we're persistent, you know, if the ideas, and that's the thing, libertarians are all about ideas as well. And if we keep coming up and constructing ideas to fight back and push against the state and find new areas on the globe, such as in the waters, right, where we can create these areas where we can show with real proof. When people say, oh, what would a libertarian utopia look like? It's not a utopia, it's just an acknowledgement of human fundamentals, incentives, and proper structures that allow for individual rights, freedom, and liberty to flourish. Like I say, we're going to get there at some point in time, folks. But as you see along that way, like I say, it's bumpy waters or rough roads, you know, whether you're doing it on the land or whether you're doing it in the ocean. It's not going to be easy. But if we're persistent, and if you have lots of intelligent people out there, such as Peter Thiel or these other people that not just have the intelligence, but also have the money, right? Because that's the other thing. Money matters, right? These things don't get built without resources, and those resources cost money. So money has to be at the basis of creating these kind of platforms. Or, hey, even those of you that can come up with an idea that has nothing to do with using monetary systems or anything. Hey, well, like I say, I don't even care for some of the utopians that are all about collectivism or removing money from the equation entirely. Hey, show me some example where you can make that work. And like I say, I'll take a second look. Although I don't think that's ever going to happen because, like I say, I understand human incentives, the human structure, and how the human mind works. And how capitalism provides the prerequisite of a value on our labor and on our intellect. That's the thing that capitalism brings to the table that no other structure, no other economic structure has even come close to as far as providing in regards to our incentives. But like I say, folks, what we're seeing today is even people that are trying their best to get out from underneath the state, governments are still trying to impose their will, their mandates, and needs. Hopefully, these people will get this sorted out, and hopefully, this will continue on, and maybe this seasteading program will get ramped up, and a lot of people will be out there. And like I say, it'll be that one example that we can point to and say, look, see how that works? It works great, because there's a lot of people, like I say, these statists that are out there saying, oh yeah, where's this example of this libertarian utopia? Well, I mean, the U.S. was the closest thing, like I say, if you want to call them classical liberals or minarchists, which would now we'd be calling them the libertarians that believe in the state, not the philosophical libertarians, but the political libertarians. Like I say, a political libertarian is very much aligned with a lot of the classical liberals. But like I say, the founding fathers, they did a great job, but they had a whole new geography to try their social or economic experiment, the setting up of the Constitution of the United States. That worked, and it worked great for, almost a couple hundred years? Well, I mean, there was obviously bumps along that road too, right? But it was that one country that went from basically nothing in obscurity, just a bunch of tribes, right, all around everywhere, with not much as far as infrastructure, to now being the most dominant country on the entire planet as far as economic and social prosperity. So if that's what you can do with a very limited amount of oppression from the state, wonder how much further you can take that when it's been eliminated entirely in situations such as this. I think the sky's the limit if it's given even just half a chance. Given a full chance, the sky, forget that. The universe is the limit. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.